Hi, I'm Sportmentary, and I'm here with my Winnipeg dude, The Comish.
That's me, the commish. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine. Well, we're back for another edition of Sportmentary.com's The Face Off, and this week we're going to talk about if coaches' press conferences have any value to the fan.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Well, that's a good lead-in, exactly, because you probably know, anybody who's listened to any of our face-offs, you know that I'm probably going to say that they're useless. I actually don't think that they provide any sports value, any value to the fan of a team. They don't get anything out of it. An example was, Joe Tortorella's post-game press conference after losing to New Jersey in Game 3. They counted 47 words in total in that press conference by Tortorella. 47. Now, he would make a great Twitter user, and he could maximize that medium pretty well, but from a sports fan perspective, nothing gained. His pregame conferences are about the same. You don't learn anything. I remember, they're pretty entertaining. I'll give them that. You could go back to Denny Green after losing a Monday night football game to Chicago after being up, 3 touchdowns, something like that in the fourth quarter, and having a total meltdown. You've played the playoff clip by Jim Mora.
Stop it right there.
Playoffs?
You're taking my side of the story. I find these entertaining, so you're agreeing with me is what you're saying.
I said they don't provide no value to the sports fan as far as real value. What can you learn from your team? That's what a conference is supposed to be. You're supposed to learn something. They never share any information, any useful information, and I think it's a waste of everybody's time. Just eliminate them.
If you eliminated them, you wouldn't have, as you said, the entertainment value would be lost. And I think the Winnipeg Jets coach, Claude Noel, gives a great press conference. It's just that some of these guys, like John Tortorella, is a bad loser. He's more than happy to talk if his team's winning. So you get to see, it gives you actually more insight to the coach and maybe how this guy might treat his players. If he's that mad at a press conference, imagine what he's saying in the dressing room. Sometimes, Sportmentary, you have to use your imagination. And as you can see, the people are on my side.
Yeah, well, all I can say is there's only one coach I have to say that, and maybe it's because of being here in Minnesota, and Jacques Lemaire, the former head coach, was loved by fans. The guy not only gave you some insight into the game, and most of the time, gave some, how the team could build, how the team played and why it affected their game. But the guy, it was like also watching a version of Slapshot at the same time. Seriously. But he gave some good content. So he added the humor, probably not intentionally, but the facts. But I would say the most part, these press conferences are just a waste of time. I hardly watch them, to be honest. I only watch them when I'm reading some sports site and they're saying some guy flipped out or some guy hardly talked, and that's when I learn about them or watch.
So then they do have value. They do have value. That's the thing. They might not be they're not going to give you insight into the team anyways. That's what the color commentators for. That's what ex-coaches and ex-players are for. They can give you what would really go on, but these guys are too secretive to begin with. Various coaches.
I don't think they should. What's that show now that the Jets were on last year? And they were trying to get back on. What's it called?
Well, the School of Hard Knocks or Hard Knocks.
Or something like that, right?
But that's different. They're following.
That's a great show for monkeys like, Tortorella and company.
Well, they have the same thing. They had the 24/7 by HBO where they follow Tortorella around. That's fine. After the game, it's the heat of the moment. I want to see how the coach reacts to the win, the loss. I'd rather see the coach after the loss because
that show you just mentioned where they follow, hockey players and athletes for 48 hours or whatever it is. They wouldn't even get that from him. They're lucky to probably get 47 seconds. Okay? But it's probably a better medium. You have a show, you follow a guy, he's a clown, he probably puts his clown suit on and bozos nose. What I'm saying is, the press conference is there for the media to gather information about the team so they can write a legitimate article and then the fans can read it and they can learn something about their team. And I'm saying that there's very few press conferences in general that allow you to gather that information. So I just think they should eliminate them. Let the teams put a release. The coaches don't want to be there. It's obvious they don't want to be there. It's a waste of their time. They're frustrated. They've just lost. They don't want to talk. I say about Torella. He's not even funny. He is the one guy.
Yes, it is funny to listen. It's fun. You never know what you're going to get out of him.
I think
he has the banter back and forth with that one reporter, Jonesy. It's hysterical. And
I think
if you're looking for insight, go watch a political show. This isn't how many different things can they say? How many ways can they say it? If they choose not to say it, it's more entertaining than if they do.
They just should eliminate them. He doesn't want to be there. One thing I respect about him, he gave 47 words and he didn't violate any NHL policy or anything. That he just sat there. He says, "You're not going to get anything out of me." What a complete waste of time for everybody involved. There would have been better.
I don't think it's a waste of time. It was 47 seconds of your life, or however much it took, and you get to see
47 words, not seconds.
Or 47 words, whatever. The point is that maybe what you're looking for in an interview is different than what the average sports fan's looking for. Maybe you're more sophisticated than the rest of us.
That was great. What's going on in Winnipeg?
The crowd going nuts.
There's a community falling apart back there.
As usual, I'm right, you're wrong. Good night, all.
Wait, I'm not finished. All I'll say is you might have a point to some degree, but what I'll say is it's probably better done I don't know, at the end of the Wild games, that these guys have 2 minutes with the coach as they're heading back to the dressing room. It's more like a little tiny mini, very mini, 3-question interview, and that's it. Done. Bye. These things where they're all, they got all the cameras, they're sitting down, they're there for 10 minutes. This whole drawn out affair, I think it's just it's a waste of time and resources. And why should a coach during the playoffs or after a game, why should they have to give a press conference? Let them go back and sulk in the dressing room. That's what they want to do. It gets old. Maybe the first time you see a guy like that do it, it's funny. And then it gets old. Then it gets just immature and ridiculous.
The fact of the matter, you never know how they're going to react. So it's great that it's out there for the public to view if they want. You have two clips that are etched in sports fans' memories. That 2 clips in all the years I've watched it. You have 2 clips. I could think of at least 20 clips. You have Eddie Green. Okay, that's going to be that'll stand the test of time. Totally having a meltdown, and I'll agree that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And then you have Jim Mora with your playoffs. Okay. Yeah. Those are 2 clips. I don't say you can probably maybe get 8 more if you really search. Those are the 2 clips etched in press conference lore. But for all the other garbage that you hear, that's just noise. The same can be said for any sports interview. Then maybe there should be no sports interviews, period, because you're getting the rare occasion that you're going to get more insight than, oh yeah, we gave 110%, which ironically you can't give it more than 100%, and they come up with just standard cliches and quotes. The odd time is when you get a guy like a Tortorella who's a loose cannon and it's unknown what he's going to say. So I hate to keep harping on this, but I'm right, you're wrong. You're not going to convince me or our listeners. I'm glad you could live with the fact that you're
who always think you're right, but I'm gonna say you're wrong in this case, and I'm gonna sign off and go and pout in the corner. All right, take it easy.
You too. Take care.